Let me know when you're ready.
Thanks, Daddy.
All right, I have your blessing.
If making it easy to be an illegal alien isn't enough,
government is another way to say better than you.
In fact, you know how fast a 5-cent hooker goes down.
no sane country would do that.
Cruz and Kasich are in it for a participation trophy.
Oh, what you represent to them is freedom.
Hosted by the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash.
Just remember, all hate mail comes to me.
The Southside Mutt Show.
Cheerleader. I don't have the boots for it.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Southside Much So, hosted by the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash. And we are digging up the dirt on news. The Southside Much So is every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
If we feel like it.
Remember to join the live chat as I shove my foot right up his ass. Oh, you dirtbag. I thought you were saying, hold on.
No, I was being an asshole.
Yeah, when aren't you? So, two quick things before we really get going that I found funny. President Obama.
The best intro we've ever had.
You douchebag. Douchebag says, what?
Huh?
Same thing as what?
Oh, you got a thesaurus. You're becoming educated.
Me be Lawrence High educated. I got a Lawrence High education. All right, so
you got a high education.
Yes, I got a high education. Yo, all right, let's get on with the show and stop goofing off. Damn it.
Wait, on this show, stop goofing off. Really?
President Obama and Senator Elizabeth Warren have scrubbed Hillary Clinton from their Twitter accounts. They're no longer following, which they said was a glitch, but as of last night when I looked, well, they were no longer following. And comments that were pro-Hillary have been removed and scrubbed. That says a lot.
That's pretty abrupt.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the funny thing, I don't even want to say the funny thing, but the interesting thing with that is, I mean, everybody knows that Obama's been after a legacy here. I mean, he's been desperately trying to go for a legacy, any legacy he can.
That's all he cares about.
But at this point...
What difference does it make?
It's... at this point, what difference... Well, exactly. He's a lame duck. He's a lame duck president at this point. There's... I mean, we're in November. There's nothing. I mean, there's technically, he's got 3 months left to his presidency because the new president is sworn into office. What is it? End of January? Roughly
20th, I think.
Yeah, it's somewhere towards the end of January. So, I mean, you figure the guy's he's got just under 3 months left in his presidency. You know, the Senate and the House. I mean, they all take off. I mean, after the election, they'll have session for maybe another week or two, and then that's it. We won't see them again until February. So why? Whether he supports her or not, it doesn't. What is he worried about doing to him other than his own ego, which is the only thing this guy has been interested in since day one. That's what he has been all about, and. It's funny, but every time anybody called him on it, it was, no, that's not the truth. That's not what it is. It's not. It's the betterment of the people. It's doing the right thing. It's doing the right thing. Well, you've been pushing that Clinton is right for America this entire time. But the FBI reopens an investigation. Additional information gets leaked out. She goes on a fucking tirade at a rally.
Which one?
And now, yeah, and now all of a sudden you completely cut all ties with her. You sever everything at this point. Well, guess what, Mr. President? Number one, chicken shit.
That's your girl, man.
Number two, too late. We already know where you fucking stand. You can go hide in the shadows all you want. We know where you stand.
In the White House.
For now.
Upright.
Thank God. Only for right now. Well, the funny thing is he doesn't stand upright. You take that however the fuck you want.
Racist.
But I mean, like you said, at this point, what difference does it really make? I mean, that's going to follow her the rest of her life.
Yeah.
And that's a good goddamn thing. Because, I mean, that proves her mentality. Honestly, I think that sums up her mentality.
Yep.
She'll make a decision, and she will never own it after the fact.
Oh, and that's exactly what Obama has done for the last 8 years.
Pawn it off on everybody. And what's this new thing? If we don't vote for her, we're sexist?
Yes.
That's pot calling kettle black.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he beat her in 2008? So that makes him a sexist for beating her.
Well, no, but you have to remember, though, being racist is viewed as worse than being sexist. So it would have been if we didn't vote for him, we were a racist, which is worse than being sexist. But now, since it's a woman up against a white guy, now they get to play that card. They couldn't play that card a few years back. Now they can.
Let me tell you something. I'm not voting against her because she has a twat. I'm voting against her because she is a horrible person. I wouldn't trust her leading my dog, let alone the country.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. I mean, honestly, I heard what was it? My kids were talking about it tonight when they got home from school. You know, it was vote against Trump. He's a dump. Vote against Trump. That's what they're walking around the school chanting. And I made a comment. I was like, well, they probably get a lot of their political views from their parents. No, Dad, they have social media and they have all this, and they read everything. I was like, yeah, and most of that's, and again, depending on where you look is going to depend on what you see. I mean, if you're only ever going to look at one side of a coin, you're always going to think that it's just a president's head. There's no eagle. Okay, that's not the way to do it, And then one of my daughters, and she's young and very young, and pretty much what she said was, she's like, well, isn't it time that we had a woman president? I mean, that'd be a good thing to vote for. We should vote for her. It's time we had a woman president. Like, well, sweetie, that's the wrong reason. And actually, one of her older sisters even chimed in and said, that's not why you vote for a president. You don't use whether they're male or female. She's like, but we finally got a black president. It's like, yeah, how well did that work out for us? Silence. I mean, honestly, like I told you, with very few exceptions, I'm going down, I'm looking up who's currently in office that's up for election, and if the incumbent is running, with very, very few exceptions, if the incumbent is running, I'm voting against him. I'll bounce back and forth between party lines. I don't care. Because right now, just about everybody, at least in my state, if they are currently in office, they're not doing their fucking jobs appropriately. And they've even admitted it. I mean, just this whole gas tax thing. We've had a bunch of them trying to save face by saying, well, we didn't realize the repercussions. We didn't realize that it was all written right there. People have been talking about it for months. It was there. So what you're admitting is you didn't do your job, you didn't read it, and you voted based on a party. You voted your party, not your job. So guess what? I'm going to vote for the job, not the party. Like I said, with few exceptions, there were a few that did stand up. There are a few that actually are doing their jobs. I mean, that's how I'm voting.
And you know what? I got into it with a couple of people because everybody's vote blue, vote for Hillary, vote blue. You got to do this. No, vote for who you want. Don't be telling people how to vote. That is not your job to tell people how to vote. And I'm not meaning you, just altogether. It is not my place.
Oh no. If anybody wants to ask me who I'm voting for or why, I'll freely tell them. I'm doing this because of X, Y, and Z. That's not telling them what to do. Make your own informed decision. The only thing I will ever say is make an informed decision.
Yes.
That's the only thing I'll ever tell somebody is don't vote blindly. That I will say. I will flat out say, do not blindly vote for somebody because of a label. If you're voting for a label, you're going to get screwed. Vote for somebody because their policy, their ethics, their character is closer aligned with your own values than the other guy. Now, we keep saying it. There's no perfect candidate. Honestly, I think this election is probably one of the biggest advertisers of that. I mean, I've said it freely on the show. There's a lot with Trump I don't agree with. But I agree with him a hell of a lot more than that crooked bitch.
I got someone right now. They're on this big kick rate today, trying to do it again, and it's been failed. That Trump is going to get tried in December for raping an underage child. Really? That's why the case has been dropped twice. It's a civil case, not a criminal case, number one, and it's been dismissed twice now. So now the person is trying to pivot to Trump University fraud case. Well, why don't we talk about the Clinton University fraud case?
Oh, did you hear the new one with that? Not with Clinton University, but just the Clinton Foundation. Do you remember what was said publicly? You know, if Clinton gets elected, you know, what would Bill and Chelsea do? And they said, well, you know, and the whole thing with the foundation getting foreign donations from foreign countries, that's always been suspicious and all this. They publicly said Bill would step down. He would remove himself. Chelsea would remove herself. And they would not accept donations from foreign countries or interests. That's what was publicly stated, yet in these emails and these leaks and these investigations, it's come out that after that was stated, it was they'll form an independent committee to review any donations to determine whether or not Bill should accept them, because he'll stay on as an advisor or some crap like that. So you say one thing to the American people, and you're planning on doing the exact opposite behind their back. You're just going to do it in the shadows. Really? And you wonder why people don't trust politicians. This is why. And guess what? Your dirty laundry, getting aired out. This country stinks right now.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sick of I mean, I'm not sick of the politic part, but I'm sick of the blatant, and they come up with so much bullshit. Like this Trump, they love to talk that he's going to get put in jail. And it's like, people, you can't get put in jail over a civil case. That's a criminal case you're talking about, and there's no such thing. This happened years ago and doesn't pop up until he starts running for president.
Which is the perfect time for a civil case, because if you're going to try to save face on it, if you're going to try to make it go away, you're going to agree to pay out more than you normally would. That's all. A civil case does not go after somebody for incarceration.
No.
It does not remove anybody's rights. The only thing a civil case does, it does two things. One, it gives you not justification, but it gives you closure, so to speak, if there is such a thing. It gives you a
paycheck.
Number two, it gives you a fucking paycheck. Okay? And the burden of proof on a civil case is significantly lower. I mean, that's why every time one of these shootings has happened, I mean, for the past 20 years, it was the whole reason why they had to pass a federal law that protected manufacturers, not just of firearms, but of other products as well, from litigation, was because you can never go after them criminally because there was no criminal conduct. So people were going after them in civil court to get paychecks. They wanted the money. That's what it's about. It's about a fucking payday.
Yeah.
Because God forbid anybody actually get up in the morning, go to a job, and get an honest paycheck for an honest day's work. I mean, God forbid anybody actually do that. I mean, Christ. I mean, that's only what founded the entire country. I mean, I'm sorry, that was the American dream. It was freedom, right? It was a freedom from tyranny. It was the freedom of oppression. It was the freedom from all this crap. The only way you get that is by working. If something's being handed to you, you're not free of anything. You're a serf. You're a servant because it's being given to you. We've gone from a free society back to a subservient society. People are just too goddamn blind. Well, I'm not going to say everybody. A good portion are too blind to understand that concept. Just saying.
Yeah, it's just saying.
Uh-oh, Reaver's doing research.
Now, what I'm finding real funny is you saw the video today of Hillary.
You're talking about the one where she went on the dictatorial role, pointing her finger and yelling at everybody?
Screeching, more or less. Thing is, that's not the first time since Friday she's done that. But she's the one that has the temperament for have her finger on the butt.
No, honestly, you know what I found more comical than her tirade? It was the words that were used. There was a phrasing that she used that I found very comical. If you don't agree with this policy, if you want that policy, if you want something or if you don't want something, then vote for progress, vote to move forward, vote to me, I'll make it happen. But wow, desperate much? You're not even actually stating any policy. You're essentially just telling everybody, if you vote for me, whatever you don't like, I'll get rid of, and whatever you want, I'm going to give you. Talk about a blank check. I mean, that just, to me, that reeked of desperation.
Oh, her whole campaign right now is
desperate. Yeah, but that phrasing of that one rant, it was just like, oh my God. That's like an animal lashing out just before they take their last breath. I mean, just trying to get that one claw mark in you. You know, trying to give you the rabies before they die. I mean,
I hate to put it that way, but yeah, that's a perfect way of saying it. I mean, she just, holy.
Sorry, I'm going to use a lot of animal references. It's hunting season up here, so, I mean, and, so I'm going to use, animal references. It's nothing personal against her. I mean, if I was going to use an animal reference that's personal against her, it would have been when you kill a skunk, it sprays one last time to make you smell like shit before it dies. I would have used that one. Just saying.
I'm dumbfounded at how, and then she's attacking not Donald Trump, she's attacking his supporters. That I've never seen a candidate ever do.
Well, no, because you're trying to win over the supporters of the other side.
But you say now you can govern us after you have
belittled us.
Yeah.
Didn't she call us all psychopaths at one point?
She has called us racist.
I want the commander-in-chief of my country, I want the president of my country to have the personal viewpoint of me, personally, somebody whom she has never met, she has never spoken to, and, well, supposedly she's never looked up any information on, but we know the way government surveillance works. That I'm racist, I'm a psychopath, I'm a piece of
NSA's
shit,
listening.
all this stuff.
NSA's listening. You're going to get us in trouble there.
Yeah, because that stopped me in the past.
Oh, my God.
Hey, look, asshole, just remember who trained me, okay?
I know.
You don't like the result? Look at the teacher.
And I was such a great teacher.
In your own mind. Thank God there was other people on that crew.
Oh, you little bastard. Bastages, I tell you, bastages. It's... The desperation is just...
honestly, that's what I'm getting a kick out of. I mean, at this point, it's Wednesday. We are 6 days away from voting.
7 days from talking about 2020.
Yeah. Well, honestly, what I'm actually... the sad thing is, my time frame is 1 week from today. It's 7 days from today. Because in 7 days from today, we are going to see the outfall. Because no matter who wins, half this country is going to feel like they lost. And depending on which side,
thank you for bringing that up,
is going to really have a hell of an impact on the type of protest. Because we've already seen that. We've seen the peaceful protests
Oh, yeah.
of the one side. So, I mean, honestly, that's what frightens me, is what happens to all the innocents? What happens to all the civilians?
No, because Hillary
They're all gonna be caught
talked
in the
about that
crossfire
this
and shit.
weekend, what's going to happen. As civil
Really?
war, if Trump
Yeah.
wins, we are going to have civil war in this country. She is threatening violence against the country.
Now, wait, hold on. Not too long ago, before, earlier this year, I think even before the primaries, and they were talking about, people were bringing up, well, Trump's going to, he's good, and, he brought it, people were talking about, there's going to be a civil war. If Clinton gets in, there'll be a civil war, because she's out to take our guns, she's out to do this, she's out to do that. There's going to be rioting. There'll be because I remember the Civil War statement being made earlier this year, and it was her party that was making it. Oh, you're a bunch of nutcases. You're just a bunch of hillbillies. You're all conspiracy theorists. That'll never happen. That's not what it's about. But now, at the final hour, you're inciting it. Again, desperation. Hypocrite. Dude, how big is this dictionary for Democrats now?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
But to be perfectly honest, that's actually what I'm worried about. I'm worried about that outfall, because I know even if Trump wins, him getting a second term, I think, would be a long shot. So I'm figuring 4 years. And I hate to put it that way, but I kind of am. I'm being pessimistic about it. Sorry. There's no way that he's going to be able to fix all the problems that have been propagated in 4 years. It cannot happen. The system isn't designed for that, unless you do the, I'm going to override the entire system with a pen and a phone, the way Obama's been trying to do. So if you actually want to play within the rules, which we've already shown, it's been proven, the Democrats have no interest in this, and they use that tactic against the Republicans because typically the Republicans do play within the rules, then in 4 years, a lot of this will not get fixed. What I'm actually looking for from him is only one thing. Tip of the spear, the start, the lighting of the fuse. Not the full end result, but the beginning of a result. That's what I'm hoping for from him. If he gives us that, I will be very, very satisfied with his presidency.
See, this is what I see, and maybe I'm just nutting fucks.
Well, we already know you're delusional.
Yeah, I could see him running a second term and winning. I could see him winning this time. I want to see the Supreme Court protected.
I could see him. Okay, well, one thing, he gets in, our Supreme Court will be stabilized.
Yes. Our Second Amendment rights will be stabilized.
There's no way, not even just our second rights, all of our fundamental rights, our first right, the second, all of them. Because, she's flat out said that the government has the right to regulate your rights. Regulate the right of free speech, freedom of religion, gun ownership. No, the whole reason those were put in there as fundamental was to ensure that the government didn't do exactly what you're saying the government's allowed to do. So him getting in and him appointing somebody, the Congress cannot stonewall for 4 years. Honestly, I'm impressed they actually were able to stonewall almost an entire year the way they did after Scalia died. That was actually surprising. I actually didn't think they were going to win that. So, no, that'll be the one thing that even if he only does get one term, our Supreme Court will be stabilized for at least a short period of time. Now, will he run for a second term? I have no doubt he probably will. I can't see any reason why he would not. But the country's been so divided up to this point, it's going to tip. It'd be very, very easy to tip one way or the other on whether or not people like him or hate him. And those sentiments of like and hate will grow stronger And there will be, I mean, you think about it. You know, high school students right now, they're 16, 17 years old, 15 years old. They're going to be of voting age for the next election. They'll be of voting age in 2020. So that's a massive boon to one side. And historically, the younger population votes Democrat. Especially right now. I mean, look at all the stuff, you know, the healthcare, the college. I mean, they're promising nothing but freebies. You've got all these high school students, all these college students that have a crap load of debt, whether they've already got it or they're coming into it. They're going to hook onto the freebies.
Well,
that's why I'm saying I don't see him necessarily winning a second term. But if we can at least get the road started, because, I mean, I've even admitted it. As I got older, as I grew up, as I actually took more responsibility in my own life, I started realizing that I'm more Republican. When I was a kid, yeah, I thought more Democrat. Yeah, freebies sounded good. Free education sounded great. Not having to pay my bills, yeah, that sounds great. Now, does it sound good? Yeah. Is it feasible? No, and I know that. The only way that's feasible, win the lottery.
Yeah. Well, someone actually did the math, and basically the rich people that we have in this country, they could pay 100% taxes, and it would only fund our government for the plans that Hillary wants for 1 month.
Yeah. It wouldn't even all the college debt that they keep talking about. Yeah, what will tax the rich? That'll pay off all the current college debt. No, it won't. It will take a chunk out, but it wouldn't remove college debt. There's too much debt. Our government has gone so overboard with the debt ratio. I mean, Christ, if I want to apply for a credit card, they look at my debt-to-income ratio. And that determines whether or not I can get credit. That determines whether or not I can buy a house. That determines whether or not I can get a car. It determines my interest rate. It determines everything. Yet we're spending probably, 1,000-fold over what we bring in. And their solution is, well, let's just tax more. You wonder why everybody's leaving the country? I mean, the people that actually make the jobs, you wonder why they're going overseas? This is why. You want to make a boon to the economy? You want to bring money into this country? Lay off the guys with the money that make the jobs. Let them bring their jobs back. Then all of a sudden you'll have people with a disposable income again. It's a stupid idea, I know. Probably never work. Because, it didn't work for all those, those few hundred years prior to this type of government. I mean, Christ, in the 1800s, even the early 1900s, we had already had a couple of wars. We'd actually engaged in combat for the first time on, actually, the Marine Corps song, Shores of Tripoli. The Barbary Wars. We engaged an enemy on foreign soil for the first time. So we had a standing army. We were engaged in essentially worldwide conflict at that point. We had a government. We had a prospering nation. Wait, what did we have? Hold on, let me think about it. What didn't we have? We didn't have an overbearing government, and we didn't have overbearing taxes. Actually, we didn't even have income taxes at that point. Yet our government was funded without income taxes? How is that possible? How's that possible? That's not possible. How's that possible? I can't understand how it's possible.
I know, they built roads. We had roads, bridges.
And was Visa established then? I mean, do we have a Visa credit and MasterCard? Do we have lines of credit in China and every place else at that point? In the billions and trillions of dollars? I don't... How the hell did we manage that? I can't fathom it. It boggles the mind. All right, told you before, I'm in a mood.
I don't mind. Hey, actually, we're going to go to break, real quick, and come right back. You're listening to Southside Much So with the host, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and dipshit there, Crash. We will be right
Technically, you're listening to Crash on the Southside Much Show. Because Jersey he's a fucking mute tonight.
Oh, no, we're going to talk about it. I got to do some research, but it seems that Hillary wanted the FBI to release some information, and the FBI may have released some information. But I want to double-check before we talk about it. We will be right back after this message.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, at Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. And we also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
you got a business. That you didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the ReaverOfCommonSense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Southside Mutt Show, hosted by the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash. And, well, Crash is doing majority of the talking tonight. I'm going to let him take it away because I'm actually going to load up some files onto Reaver.1. It seems FBI is starting to unload the emails pertaining to Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Petraeus.
Well, now, see, like I was saying on the break, it seems a little bit, I mean, okay. It does and it does not seem fishy to me. I mean, one of the biggest things that the Obama administration and Clinton was a big part of that was this whole transparency thing, which we all know is a bunch of horseshit. But this whole case against her with the emails, Comey said it was closed. It was done. It was over. Well, WikiLeaks comes out. They find a bunch more stuff. They find a lot more leaks. I mean, now we've got a freaking laptop that was uncorrupted, supposedly, that nobody knew about because it was, what was it, one of her chief aides, the ex-wife of Wanker, whatever, that had a lot of this information on. So all of a sudden, whoa, there's a treasure trove. Well, now, here's the irony. WikiLeaks was able to find that, yet the FBI couldn't, which I find that a little bit ironic or funny, fishy, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I don't know. I can kind of see this two ways. I mean, on one side of it, why would she push to have stuff released? But on the flip side, if it's already going to be released either way, if WikiLeaks, because they've even, a lot of speculation has been, they're systematically releasing to ensure that nothing gets lost in the news, nothing gets buried, that it's fresh in everybody's mind all the way up until the 8th. So if that's the strategy of WikiLeaks, is to ensure that there's damning evidence every single day against her, then strategically, she knows that the information's coming out. So let's dump everything right now. Take the entire fucking thing, dump it right now. We'll dump it, removing your power. We'll remove that. So it all dumps right now. There's so much information so fast, it can't get sifted through. It can't really get looked at in any type of true light. And we've got 5 days of damage control. And we've got 5 days of subversion and misdirection. I think it's a risky play, but I can actually understand it. The more I thought about it, I can understand it. It's kind of like, that Hail Mary pass. I mean, you got a 1 in 1,000 shot. The guy's going to catch it in the end zone 90 yards out, but hey, you got nothing else to lose. What the fuck? Might as well try it.
I think she put out that statement because she figured they can't. Now, this isn't what's been exposed now, what they found now. This is from her original investigation.
Well, now, see, here's the other side of it, too. And this just kind of hit me. She's pushing the FBI to release.
Because he knows that
what is the common stance? What is the stance of any law enforcement agency that is conducting a current investigation? They cannot comment on a current investigation. They cannot release pertinent information that's still being because they're still vetting the information. They don't want to release false information. They need to look at it. They need to review it before it's released. So she can actually turn around and say, well, hey, I was trying to release it. I was trying to be transparent.
Yeah,
it's that FBI. It's that Comey guy. It's that guy that reopened an investigation into me. That's the guy. That's the problem right there. And I'll remove him. I'll get rid of him. She actually is opening up a few different plays for herself here.
Yeah, but she's pissing off some people that I would not want to exactly piss off.
I wouldn't be worried about pissing off Obama.
No, I'm talking... Well, Obama has backed the FBI on this. That's the funny part. The White House is backing...
But what bothered me was the fact that he never stood up or said a damn thing when all this evidence was publicly available and the FBI says we don't recommend charges and the AG says, okay, we'll take that recommendation. I mean, like, bam, immediately, we'll take it. Oh, and by the way, we were meeting with her husband on a private aircraft, and he didn't say anything. He kept his mouth shut.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a fucking puppet. He's a fucking puppet. I really don't care. I mean, really, honestly, whether he's crucifying the FBI today or he's backing them up tomorrow, I really don't give a shit. He's a chicken shit piece of crap. He's a puppet boy. That's all he is. He's a publicity piece. He's a token.
Oh.
That's his legacy. His legacy is
all
a token.
hate mail goes to Crash at...
That took longer than expected. I figured you would have put that advertisement out 10 minutes into the show tonight.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, was the token comment too much?
Oh, I don't give a shit. It's...
Told you.
Well,
I warned you.
I didn't get to talk about it. I forgot about it. Veritas dropped another video.
Really?
Yes. And this time, a big-time Democrat donor saying that blacks that back of Republicans are fucked in the head. But of course,
if we back a Republican, we're fucked in the head.
Yes.
Well, in certain sexual positions and in certain orientations, yes, I guess you could be getting fucked in your... Yeah, I guess for some people that is an accurate description. Never received, but I've given. Just saying. I warned you I was in a mood.
No, I know. I cannot believe that if that was a Republican that said that, holy shit, that would be headlining.
Okay, that's the double standard. That's the double standard that we've all known about. Oh, speaking of double standards, this is completely off of this entire conversation we've been having this entire time. Remember that article I was telling you about the Bundy case from Oregon at the wildlife refuge? I'm sorry, I got to throw it out there. This was some of the most asinine shit I have ever heard. Okay, first of all, if nobody's been following the Bundy case, from the wildlife refuge takeover in Oregon, which Lavoy Finicum was killed at the end of, all the people that were arrested and charged with weapons offenses and occupying federal property and all the rest of this stuff, they were found innocent. They were found innocent by a court, by a jury. They were found innocent. They did not break any laws. It was actually determined, legally determined in a court of law, that it was a peaceful protest. And actually, the only acts of aggression, the only true violence was on the part of the government. It was the government representatives that actually did the violence, not the protesters. Okay? And federal property, by the Constitution, does not exist. Federal property is the property of the people. So that, I mean, that's like, oh, that's a whole other show right there, just on that bullshit. Yeah. But in any case, they were found innocent. Well, obviously, this hits the news, and you got people on both sides of it, like everything else. Now, what I found comical was New York City, a columnist for, I think it was I can't remember if it was a magazine or a paper or whatever the hell it was, but it was, a standard publication, so something that, a lot of people read. It's a normal thing. It's not some tabloid. Did an article on this and got the whole thing signed off on. It wasn't snuck in. It had the full backing. And the entire thing was crucifying the Bundys and and this is proof positive that the system is fucked up. And the examples that they used were, number one, if this had been a minority, or if this had been a ethnic minority or a religious minority, then they would have been labeled as terrorists, they would have been labeled as this, they would have been labeled as that, and they never would have been found not guilty. So that was one point that they made. Another point was, oh God, what? I'm trying to remember all the asinine points now. Essentially, he just kept going on about how the only reason that they were found not guilty was because they were a bunch of white guys. They were found not guilty by another bunch of white guys. So this is white privilege. This is proof positive that there are two different justice systems. There's a justice system for the white guy, and there's a justice system for everybody else. And the statement that I found most infuriating and comical at the exact same time was, they have now weaponized white privilege.
Weaponized. Nice one. Weaponized, oh my God! Help us.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, somebody pointed out.
Help us, baby Jesus.
Retorted to it. Somebody retorted to it. I think it was a picture that was used in there. What's that?
You can do that in public?
I think there was a picture, that he had used, and it was Lavoy Finicum with two of the other protesters. And somebody pointed out that one of the protesters standing behind Lavoy wasn't white; he was black. That the people that were tried were, like the poster children that were tried, the 5 or 6, they were all white. But there were other protesters there, and somebody turned around and asked, well, wait a second. If it's white privilege that got the white guys arrested and got a white guy killed, if that's white privilege, then why was the black guys that were in the photos and the videos supporting them at the exact same time, why were they never charged and never touched? Well, that's not the issue at stake here. That's not what we're talking about. That's not an issue. Whoa! Wait a second. It's exactly an issue because you made it. You made it an issue with your statements. You opened the door, and now you're getting called out, and you're going to throw a hissy.
No, liberals would never.
The fact of the matter is, they didn't break any federal laws. They didn't break any state laws. They didn't break any local laws. Worst thing they did. Okay, if I actually had to, again, without knowing all the facts, because I know I never will, if I had to say that they broke anything, it was they disregarded orders of law enforcement, which technically the orders were not. You can't be charged with disregarding law enforcement if it's a lawful order. But technically all the orders that were given were unlawful. So are they really even in violation of that? That's a touchy one, but I have to say by the letter of the law, no, they're not. Law enforcement was giving unlawful orders. So no, they did not have to comply. It's that simple. Other than that, speeding. Okay, that's the one thing. So for a speeding ticket, the guy got killed for a fucking speeding ticket.
Yeah,
I honestly can't think of anything because they're allowed to open carry.
Yeah, that's
by the Constitution. Any federal property, if it is government owned, it is state. If it is government owned, that means it is owned by the people, because it was purchased, it was procured by the government, which is our money. That is our representation. They are acting on our behalf, which means all federal land is also our land. Which, okay, fine. You can make the statement of, okay, well, the Smithsonian Institute is, yes, that's a government building. Oh, not Smithsonian. That's a bad one. National Archive, government building. Can I go in there after hours and break in? No, I'm going to get in trouble for that. But should I be barred from the mall just because the White House shuts down for the week because of a protest? Should I not be allowed to go to a memorial, an outside memorial? Why are you going to put fences up around it? And everybody's forgotten about those protests. Open space memorials, open space, federal property that is an open space. All of a sudden, I'm not allowed to go to just because the government is on a shutdown. or because the government says I can't. I'm sorry. The government's supposed to answer to the people, not the people answer to the government.
It's been the other way around for several years now. We really need to take back control on our government.
It hasn't just been several years. It's been a lot longer than that. It's been significantly longer than that. Hold on 1 second. You go with it. Yes, kiddo.
It's like, oh my God, I can't believe the show has gone on the way it has. It's.
All right, go on.
It's.
I will tell him that.
We are.
You still on my computer?
No. I'm not on your computer.
I'm going to be in a minute to tuck you in then.
No.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right, cool.
So, cool. Well, we only got a couple more minutes, so, yeah.
Well, that's about the way the show goes usually. Yeah, but anyway, I mean, just to finish my point, it actually is law that if you look back in the Constitution, which, yes, I know a lot of the politicians now say is outdated, antiquated, and should be rewritten, all this government property, all this government space, these wildlife, that's public property. And the irony is, and this is what I really find ironic, is if you get a bunch of, again, okay, let's go with the double standard. You get a bunch of tree huggers out there, does anybody go after them? If they're out there protesting and they were to occupy a wildlife refuge, would that have been national news?
Nope.
No, because that's exercising their rights. Because that serves an agenda that they want. That serves the current government's agenda. But you have, what they were calling armed militia out there. And the true irony is, if you actually look back at the way all that happened, yes, there was a lot of militia, a lot of them. You're probably talking, I don't even want to say how many people, but you're talking triple, quadruple digits that would have shown up to back this. The Bundys were saying, no, stay home. This isn't your fight. This is not the publicity we want. This is not what we want. And guess what they all did? They stayed. Very, very few showed up. They stayed. They did what was requested of them because they respected what the protesters were doing. They didn't try to turn it into their own agenda. Now, can we say that about the BLM? Can we say that about the burning in the South of the different cities and Chicago? No, they actually imported people for those.
That's
whereas
the funny
we were
part.
trying to. I mean, come on. At some point, people are going to have to pull their heads out of their respective sphincters and take a breath of fresh air.
You just confuse.
And you know what?
liberals.
Once you finally, the fucked up thing is once they finally do, they're not going to want to go back because I know once my head got pulled out of the sand, I got no interest in going back. Next time my head's in the dirt, well, I'll be dead. That's simple.
Or we'll be wrestling around and one of us will be hurt laying on the ground.
Well, there's that too. Just make sure you cuddle with me afterwards. It'll be okay.
Stop. Don't go there. And on that note...
I thought it was don't put it there.
Take it out of the
All
box!
right.
Take it out of the box!
Yes! Robert Schimmel. Gotta love that guy.
Yes. It's a shame. And with that...
No, that one truly was. Okay, anyway. Well, good night, America. The only thing I'm going to close this with is vote your conscience on Tuesday. If it feels right, vote for it, regardless of what it is. If it feels right, vote for it.
Feels right, vote for it. Yeah, that's got me in trouble
okay, well,
a few nights.
This is one of the few times I'm going to say that I'm, yes, pussy does feel right to me, yet I'm not voting for it. I will stand vote against that one. But anyway.
Pussy cat. Shut up. All right. You've been listening to Southside Mutts. with myself, Jersey Joe, and Crash. We will be back next week to talk about the 2020 election. We're skipping over the 2018 and going right to the 2020. And I'll be back tomorrow with the Reverb of Common Sense on 11 o'clock. Till then, have a great night.
Have a great evening.
You've been listening to the Reverb of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.